Hello my fellow Indonesians, and welcome to Daily Debrief number 11, which is brought to you in much better spirits than yesterday's video. Today was Tuesday, which is Emotion Regulation Day, and I realized that I had missed a dose of one of my antidepressant anti-anxiety meds, which is hopefully why I felt so rubbish. Yeah, kitty, do you like it? So this is one of my drawings. It says we're all thinking creatures. And then this is the other one. Then today in classroom time, we talked about flooding, and it was very ironic because that's essentially what I had experienced yesterday during the entire day. It was just way too much stimulus being around all of the people and not having meds in my system. And there is a page that tells you about the body's alarm system and how it feels when you're undergoing flooding. So there are things like your brain feels hijacked, thoughts race, which can make it hard to think clearly and rationally. Your head can be dizzy or lightheaded, which results in faster breathing. You're breathing fast and shallow, which helps us take in more oxygen, which is then transported around the blood system, and sometimes you can feel like you're choking. Your stomach can churn, your muscles tense, your bladder can relax and make you feel like you have to go to the bathroom. Your eyes widen, which can let in more light and then make your vision blurry. Your mouth can dry. Your body will heat up and sweat. Your heart will beat faster and have palpitations, and your hands and legs can tingle or tremble because of all that lack of actual oxygen. Kind of like a panic attack. And we were told to try and take 20 minutes to calm that down. And it seems really irrational. Okay, it's rational and irrational at the same time, which is something that I sort of brought up when we were in open group. I talked twice. I spoke 2 times and gave feedback, and people listened and they appreciated it. One thing that I was saying is, oh no, what was I saying? Oh, that when you're going through an anxiety attack, even if you feel stupid and ridiculous, you do have to remember to breathe and do those exercises where you breathe in for a certain amount of seconds, you hold it, and then you release for a certain amount of seconds. Because that will physically slow your heart rate down if you take deeper breaths instead of just using the first third of your lung capacity. If you use your entire lungs, your heart rate will slow down, and when your heart rate slows down and you're getting oxygen, the tinglingness will go away. Your heart rate will slow down, so you won't be sweating as much and feel as hot, and things will slow down. And that allows you to realize that things are okay. Then when you don't do that, and when you allow your thoughts to race, everything's falling apart and you're hearing this voice in your head. So sometimes you have to talk to yourself. You have to speak out loud, so there is a verbal voice that you can hear, not just the thoughts that are in your head. And I still haven't quite gotten over this, because if I don't want the thoughts in my head, who's putting them in my head? Because I am myself and I should be in control of my thoughts, and if I'm not in control of my thoughts, who is in control of my thoughts? But that's for another video. And so you kind of just have to talk out loud to yourself sometimes and say, I am here, I am okay, I am not in danger, things like that. Speak the truth and the facts so that your brain can try and rationalize. Then the other thing I said is that a lot of people, when you start thinking about your breathing, is when it gets difficult to breathe. So you have to practice those breathing exercises when you're not as anxious. So if you get anxious at night, practice breathing during the day. Practice doing the deep breathing at lunchtime or something. Because the more you practice it, the more habitual it will be. So when you're in a situation where you need to use it, you won't have to think about it as much, and therefore it will work better. Then we were also talking about, I didn't end up speaking out about this because I said enough words that day, but when your brain is racing and your thoughts are just going all over the place and you have to distract yourself, you can healthily distract yourself. And so sometimes I like to listen to music. Well, I listen to music all the time. I listen to music, and when that's not helping, I go and play music, because sometimes the act of actually doing the thing helps more. So I will paint, I will color, I will physically play music, I will physically sing, I will physically go for a run, go for a bike ride, do an ab workout while listening to music. Do something so that my body has to focus on something else other than how it feels. And you should recognize your feelings, but you should also recognize the situation you're in, because a lot of times anxiety isn't rational. You're feeling anxious and you're feeling flooded, but there's no physical threat. Your brain perceives a threat, which is why it's kicking in your fight or flight response and your adrenaline is going. But once you deep breathe and you do those other things to calm yourself down, you can feel better. And it's not like medication where you take it and it'll calm you down. Some things will work in some situations but won't work in others. So sometimes it's enough for me to listen to music, but other times I have to go play music. Sometimes it's enough to just be drawing. Other times I have to go for a run. It's trial and error. Yes, meds are great when all else fails, but you shouldn't just be solely dependent on them. And I know that's really ironic because yesterday I had such a rubbish day because I missed a dose of meds. But those are sort of preventative meds. I take those because I can't function. And while I'm on them, I'm learning other ways to function, because there are still situations that arise that even while I'm on these meds, my brain can't take it. And yes, I have other rescue meds. I have Ativan to take when I can't calm myself down and all else fails, but you don't want to have to depend on something like that, because especially with some of those medicines, they can be addictive. So you have to train yourself. You have to teach yourself in certain situations it's okay to recognize that you're not feeling okay, but then you have to try to get yourself all right, because there's no other way you can go on in the world feeling like that. So that's what I did today, I suppose. I am discharging on Friday, which is 3 more days. I got a new script today for my meds because I took all of them. I'm sorry, I'm making noises. I'm putting my papers back away. Oh. Initially he gave me a 2-week dose because he was going to start me on more of a child's dose because I'm only 19. But then I didn't actually get to talk to him today, the psychiatrist, because they were busy. But they did write me a script so that I can keep taking meds. They did only write it for 20 milligrams because I didn't get to go talk to them to bump up to 30. But that's alright, I'll get to talk to them soon enough. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave comments down below if you have any questions. I will be making 3 more videos in this partial hospitalization program series. Later this year, I will be making videos about things such as migraines, eosinophilic esophagitis, gastroparesis, asthma, other things that you want me to discuss. Also leave those in the comments, please. And as always, thanks for watching.